Hello all, welcome to the Graphs of Absolute Value series. In part 1 we're going to look at how absolute value functions change. So it says fill in the info about the absolute value function below. Part A says for each function choose whether its graph opens up or down. Part B says choose the function with the narrowest graph. And part C asks choose the function with the widest graph. So for part A, choose whether it opens up or down. Whether it opens up or down depends on the negative value. So since it's -4, it opens down. So here you would select down. Okay, negative value tells you down because it's a negative slope. This is +1/2, so that means that it opens up. This is +3, so that means that it also opens up. And this is 3/4, meaning that it also opens up. Choose the function with the narrowest graph. Well, the narrowest graph means that it will be the smallest slope. The value with the smallest slope will be just the one with the smallest fractional form, not necessarily the lowest total value. So we have -4, which is a pretty big slope, pretty steep. I'm sorry, excuse me. The narrowest graph will have not the smallest slope, oops, but the largest slope. Remember, the larger the slope, the steeper the graph. So our biggest value here, the values at the front indicate our slope. Our biggest value is -4. It's going to be pretty steep at 4. So that means that it opens up and goes almost straight up and down. 1/2 would be pretty wide, 3 would be pretty steep, and 3/4 is almost 1. For part C, choose the graph of the function with the widest graph. So this means that it's going to be a smaller slope. -4, well, we decided that was the largest slope, so that's not going to work. 1/2 is not going to be very steep, not very thin. 3 is going to be pretty skinny, and 3/4 is going to be about 1. So I think it's going to be 1/2 because it's the smaller slope. Okay, so remember that the slope is this value here right in front, just like a regular graph. This is the slope that we're looking at. This is how we're determining up, down, and skinny and narrow. Let's look at another example real quick. In part B, it says to look at the graph and fill the information about the coefficients A, B, C, and D. For each coefficient, choose whether it's positive or negative. Choose whether the coefficient is closer to 0, and choose the coefficient with the greatest value. So for A, which one's going to be positive or negative? Well, if it points to the positive y values, then it's going to be positive. If it points to the negative y value, it's going to be negative. So for A, it's positive. A is positive because it points up. For B, also points up. That's positive. For C, it points down, so C is negative. And D is also negative because it also points down. Choose the coefficient that's closest to 0. So closest to 0 means the flattest or the widest. So it's going to have the widest graph. So which one's widest? Well, this one is about 2/3. This one, holy cow, this one's 1/4 about. Wow, that's really flat. This one's 1:1 if you just look at the slope, and this one's about 2:1 if you look at the slope. So the widest graph is going to be graph B because it's the closest to 0, it has a 0 slope. And then choose the coefficient with the greatest value, so the skinniest graph, or narrowest. The narrowest graph, well, it can't be this one. That's the widest. So we need to look at which one has the skinniest, the littlest gap here, and that's going to be D. Alright, so just identify positive, negative, narrow, wide. And then up here for part A is look at the slope to determine up, down, and then whether it's the largest or smallest. Good luck.